Hey, what's going on, everybody? So for today's video, I want to go ahead and share with you guys 5 unique off-meta builds that I've personally found the most success with, right? So if you've been playing ranked lately and you're getting slapped around by the same old cookie cutter builds and you're damn tired of it, right? Okay. And maybe you just want to break the mold a little bit here, then you'll probably enjoy this video. And the reason for that is because all the builds I'm about to show you guys are able to legitimately put their foot on the throat of the meta. And that's not an exaggeration, right? I've specifically chosen these builds because they are genuinely good. And if you play them well, you can get consistent wins against even the most meta of meta builds, right? Also, if you're looking for a specific leg type, because you just like a specific style, I got you covered because there is a build for every leg type in this video as well. So we're good to go. That being said and done, let's go ahead and get started, man. So the first build I got for you guys is an archetype I like to call the Bullet Dragon, okay? This thing is a lightweight, close to mid-range monster. The speed at which you can stagger people with this setup is ludicrous, and it has an equally absurd amount of DPS to go with it, especially if you're punishing your opponent with it in the stagger state, okay? So right here we're rocking with double Chang Chen machine gun, and we got the Shaowei Gatling cannons on the back, and I'm honestly still shocked that I don't see this setup more often because it's just generally good into everything, man, right? It's got the speed to catch even the most nimblest of builds. It has the raw DPS and firepower to just absolutely shred through heavyweights. Like, the build is nasty. It's ridiculous. And it's especially good into shields, man. Because shields essentially act as just a giant bullet magnet for this thing to the point where you can literally just turn your brain off, hold down all 4 triggers, and just tear that thing to pieces, bro. It's awesome. Now, having said that, that's actually not the ideal way you want to play this build, alright? You actually want to do is utilize your speed a little bit more and do some more medium bursts and stuff, right? Because you can build up ACS strain very quickly, and it's very sticky. It does not fall off quickly at all. So essentially, you want to get that bar almost all the way to the top, and then right as they're about to get staggered, you're going to cease fire, reload your machine guns, make sure your Gatling guns are all cooled down, ready to rock. And then you hold down all 4 triggers for maximum dagger, bro, and just be amazed how fast the AP just completely melts, dude. It's absurd. You will be genuinely surprised when you see the AP just completely disappearing. So much so that you might even end up singing about it. Freaking never run out of energy. Salt armor in his dome piece. Look at this huge punish. Where'd your health go? Now here's the kicker. This build, as well as the other ones in this video, aren't even fully optimized as it pertains to the frame, man. The parts you see here are chosen mainly, not entirely, but mainly just because I thought they looked really cool, dude. So I think that says a lot, honestly. There's a lot of room for personal expression and tweaking on this thing where you can legit turn it into a midweight if you want to, and it performs pretty damn similar. Like, I've honestly done it, right? So you have options, which is great. Also, as a quick little aside, right, if you're still not convinced by what you've seen so far, in the description of this video, I'm going to have links to other videos, each for each individual build that shows up here, specifically to showcase more of what they're capable of and kind of like a more long-form content type thing. So if that interests you at all, right, and you so desire after the end of this video, give it a look, right? Let's move on. This next build is a hyper-aggressive close-range middleweight setup that essentially functions as a lightweight, and the stats clearly reflect that, man. This thing is crazy fast, while also somehow managing to put out even more stagger than the previous build, on top of having crazy burst potential with the assault armor dagger combo, right? Tried and true. But if for whatever reason you want to swap over to pulse armor instead, you can do that and just swap out the melee weapon for something else, and the thing will still be incredibly effective. And saying that, honestly, of all the builds in this video, you're probably going to find the most success with this one, because the original video that I made for this build, I went on an absolutely filthy win streak to the point where I didn't lose a single game that day, which was absurd. Now, granted, user results may vary as always, right? But it's honestly very consistent, right? It's insanely fast, as I said. It has good defensive stats and stuff, and it can just brawl in there. Now, the secret sauce in this one, aside from the Ludlow Coquelet combo, is honestly the ephemeral legs, right? You can tweak all kinds of other stuff, but I would say try your best to keep the ephemeral legs on, even though I know they don't look the greatest. Mainly because their grounded quick boost speed is absurd. It's second only to the Noctria legs in terms of the bipedals, and it allows you to dodge damn near everything at like crazy high speeds, especially like Zim shots, right? As long as you're freaking, plan things ahead of time, you'll be good to go consistently. And the crazy part about that too is this thing has Santai generator on there just so it can, chase much better. But if you wanted to make this thing even faster, you could swap it out for freaking, what's it called? The Ming Tang or whatever, and you gain even more speed. The thing is freaking nasty. The only tip I can really give you, aside from be aggressive, is just don't spam your coquelet, right? Don't just hammer on that trigger. Put a little bit of delay between your shots. That way you're not fighting so much with the recoil and everything, and you'll find much better results. But other than that, man, try it out. This thing's nasty. Let's move on. Alright, so for this third build right here, we're going to get some reverse joint love. And I see you looking at this build, and you're probably thinking, bro, what the hell is that, dude? That thing looks like it sucks, okay? And I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Every time I load this thing up, I expect to get my ass beat, okay? And every time I end up kicking ass instead, and I kind of just sit back and say to myself, like, why does this work, dude? I honestly don't know why it does. All I can tell you is that it just does, okay? The Wall Rifle Haldeman combo works oddly well together. There's just so much uptime between them, and the DPS they put out as well as the stagger is incredibly consistent, and it can be overwhelming, especially when paired with the orbit in the back. Like, the three things together are just like, I don't know, a beautiful blend. Now, granted, you always have the threat of reverse joint kicks in there, and you can get some pretty gnarly punishes on this build, right? Because you can stagger extend with the shotgun and follow it up with a kick, and then also another nice little Walt Rifle freaking pew at the end of that, and it hurts a lot. And it's honestly great into shields as well. I find myself overloading shields constantly when I'm playing on this build. And you have the versatility with the fact that the core rifles don't care about your opponent's defenses, so that's always a nice, like, little neat freaking bonus. On top of the fact that the stage 1 charge is also an extremely strong punish by itself, right? So you have ways to always have like a solid punish up with this setup, and you also have, access to the freaking, Kool-Aid Blast 9000 little noodle beam with the freaking full charge Walt Rifle, right? The only advice I can give you for this one, because this one is still an anomaly to me, honestly, is just, stick to your opponent and make sure you don't overheat that Walt Rifle. I've noticed that this build not completely, but for the most part, it struggles a lot. It almost falls apart when that freaking Walt Rifle is overheated. You have to play, like, very, very defensive while you wait for it to come back. But aside from that, I mean, if you're a reverse joint player, you know how to play this freaking sub, right? You know the range for your kicks, abuse them and stuff like that, and you'll be surprised by what this thing can do. I'm still surprised to this day. Like, I was even debating putting it in here, but every time I use it, I do very, very, very well. So I feel like it was worth mentioning. Give it a shot. Now, for this next build, we got some tetrapod love here, man. And let me go ahead and tell you guys, this build is a heavyweight killer, okay? Of all varieties, whether it's tank or the more commonly seen double zim and heavyweight. Which, this build excels at fighting that in particular, man. So much so that this has been my go-to build to rock anytime I feel like bullying those dudes around, you know what I mean? It works out really well in that matchup. Now, a lot of that has to do with the double javelin setup, but that's not the only reason, right? The fact that we're on tetrapod means we get to utilize and abuse the absolutely ludicrous hitbox on the tetrapod kick, right? So, essentially what ends up happening is they come assault boosting as they tend to do, and you go ahead and kick them, right, 4 feet on their head, immediately follow up with double javelin close range, and that's enough to stagger even the most stable of heavies, and also do a crap ton of damage at the same time. You can then follow up with a kick to push him away, and then here's the funny part. The back weapons may not look like much on this build, but by happy accident, because this is just another recreation, they do a surprise amount of damage together as a punish, right? It serves as a very good alternative punish, man, to the point where if you can't punish with the Javelin Alpha, you're still good to go, because these things are always up, right? You don't have to wait for the trend to lock on to use it, and the Gatling gun is always up. Even when it overheats, it doesn't last very long, you know what I mean? So it helps outside of punishes as well, to the point where it allows the build to have constant uptime and pressure, especially against heavies that can't, reliably escape from these Javelin Alpha after explosions, you know what I mean? So it's much better than you think it is, right? And the build does fantastic against a variety of builds. However, the build is incredibly weak against kites, right? Specifically like the rifle kite meta thing you see. Now, there are some little tweaks you can do to fix that matchup, and the first one I'm going to suggest to you is swap out one of the javelins for a majestic, right? And that's going to help you hit the more nimble builds and stuff like that dramatically, because for some reason, the freaking majestic is just powered by some sort of like magical fairy dust called netcode. That just makes it land, you know what I mean? We've all been on the receiving end of it, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. The Majestic's fantastic at sniping out more lighter weight opponents and more nimble opponents, so that'll help you right away. And then you can go ahead and swap out that Gatling gun for some actual missiles on there if you do that. Just keep in mind, if you do swap out that Majestic and the Gatling gun, you're going to lose like a lot of offensive pressure against the builds that kind of get in your face. So I would suggest changing out the Gatling gun for maybe one of the straight shooter missiles, either the MLT-06 or the MLT-10. Mainly because you can still utilize them at close range when one pulls up on you, you know what I mean? So it works out bad that way. I would suggest the 6 over the 10, mainly because it shoots out its missiles faster. And the MLT-10 can be stopped prematurely when you go to use your bazooka, right? So just keep that in mind if you do go that route. But overall, the build requires the most effort to, see some success with. But once you get the hang of it, you'll get some insane results, man. This thing can like legitimately just blow people up sometimes, and it's a lot of fun. So work at it, try it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Now, let's go ahead and move on to this final build here, which is a tank setup, and it's an Iron Low recreation. And it's also very dumb, okay? This thing is a spam tank, right? It feels straight up cheap, incredibly unfair, and is a lot of fun, dude. Not gonna lie. Essentially, all you're doing is you alternate between the Curtis charge shots and the Kurosawa stage 1 charge shot, right? Where you have just non-stop warning indicators going off for your opponent between that and the LCS on the back. They're going to run themselves out of energy trying to dodge everything. And both these weapons have sniping potential, man. I have sniped kites out of the sky consistently, chasing after them in soft lock with these weapon setups. And on top of that, you always have the threat of a full charge Kurosawa for any, over-aggressive heavies or just over-aggressive anything. You can just blast them point blank with that thing for an instant stagger, follow up with a, Curtis charge shot into a freaking LCS, and that hell's practically gone, bro. It's ridiculous. This thing is so good. Definitely rely on that charge Kurosawa more against the heavies, right? Because you want to out-stagger them, and you can still put out good damage with the other two weapons, of course. And then you can always change the missiles out to whatever you want on there, but I feel like those, I just chose them because they have high uptime as well, you know what I mean? So, like I said, it's a spam tank, dude. And it's insanely effective. Like, this is purely like a turn your brain off freaking build. It's very easy. It's blessed by netcode for sure. That's another thing. Which, funnily enough, right? This build, man, demolishes people so much to the point where, look, I rarely ever get hate mail in this game. Like, ever throughout the 2 years I've played this game, I've gotten very, very little. But that being said, 95% of the hate mail I have received has been from me playing this build, bro. Which is kind of funny when you think about it, because Iron Low has been freaking terrorizing people since Amocore Nexus back in like 2000 whatever. I don't know if it was like 2003, 2004, whenever Nexus released, bro. So the fact that it's still doing it in the AC6 version is awesome. I'm sorry to everyone that's had to go against this thing. It's truly dumb. But yeah, I feel like including this on there because to me, this is a freaking no-brainer, including it in the tank freaking setup, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Try it out, right? It's gonna get you wins, dude, I promise, alright? So yeah, man, that's gonna be it for the video, right? Those are all the builds. Definitely give them a shot. As I said, they're genuinely very good. They're all S-rank capable if you choose to go that high, stuff like that. Also, again, check the description of the video if you want to see these builds more in action, right? I'll have a video for each of them individually down there. And yeah, man, hopefully you guys found this freaking helpful. I know sometimes it get, frustrating to play against these freaking cookie cutter meta builds and stuff all the time. Things get stale. So hopefully this will shake up the game a little bit for you, know what I mean? Put some smiles on your face as you beat some builds that, some people feel like are unbeatable, which they're definitely not, you know what I mean? They're cheesy. It is what it is. But yeah, man, like I said, hopefully this helped out. If it did, feel free to press the like button because that helps me out. But if for whatever you decide not to do that, that's okay too, right? Everyone has their reasons. I get it. I'm not sweating it. It's all good. However, at the very least, maybe consider subscribing there. When we miss out on more builds like this, you can check out, the more usual PvP stuff that we have on the channel, as well as some other cool goodies, right? But other than that, I got nothing else for you guys, so I'm going to get up out of here. Thanks so much for watching, as always. I'll see y'all again real soon, and take care of yourselves, everybody, alright? Later.